Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome in to the Athletic Fantasy Football Podcast. Sunday morning pregame chat, start, sit, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what we're doing here for the next half hour or so. Michael Beller, Brandon Funston with you. We know this is a very tough week, so get those questions in. We will get to as many of them as we possibly can here. Funston, how you doing, man? You got any tough decisions to make coming up here in the next, we got an hour till kickoff?
I need the full hour. Yes, I got many tough decisions to make, and I'm glad we have this workshop on Sunday morning to help me out with that. So let's get to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you guys out there help us too. Help us think through some of the things that we've got to do, and we've got to lock in over the next hour before things do end up kicking off here on a Sunday where we are just without so many big players because of the buys, because of the injuries. It is a gruesome week across the fantasy football landscape, but hopefully we can start locking in some starting lineups that we're at least feeling okay about going forward. Let's get to our first question here. This one coming to us, Funston, from Christian. We've got two out of Jacoby Myers, McCole Hardman, and A.J. Dillon.
Ooh. I think I'm throwing Jacoby in there first and foremost. Probably playing it split, a safer maybe backup role against a not great Washington football team defense. A.J. Dillon probably has a role there in that game. But if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're going to be disappointed. I mean, if you're going to play for upside, you go with Hardman here. So I'm probably leaning Hardman as the choice.
Yeah, I think that's the direction I'm going in too. It's been, if you're an AJ Dillon backer back in draft season, this has probably been, realistically the best case scenario. The way he's been used, he has been something of a permanent fixture in the Green Bay offense, but that is not equating to anything that we really care about in the fantasy world. And it seems like unlikely that you would expect things to change really with what Green Bay's done. Maybe that game ends up being a blowout against Washington. Maybe he gets a little bit more work than we would expect in a close game, but you're really asking for a lot there. So the full PPR definitely for me puts the receivers over the top. Let's get to this one from Zane. We are very happy to do all this stuff that we do. Zane, thank you for being a loyal fan. So we've got two spots to fill with five players to potentially fill them, Funston. Rashad Bateman, Alex Collins, Chase Edmonds, Devontae Booker, and Devontae Freeman. Who are you looking at here?
I'll go Booker. There's no healthy wide receivers there. They're going to try to
lean on
Devontae
that
Booker
team
as much as they can. So give me Booker. We need two flex spots here. I'm going to go with Chase Edmonds for the other one. And I believe he was on the injury report, which is good news because he's, the last 2 weeks he's at average 5.8 half PPR points. His role's been limited. I think he's been averaging 8 touches. Great matchup. And if he's off the injury list, I feel a lot better about him this week.
Yeah, I'm going with the exact same two guys. Alex Collins would be the next one up for me, but he's going to play, right? I mean, Pete Carroll was pretty definitive about that on Saturday, and he got the practice in, so I don't think you're going to have any worries going into Monday Night Football, but I still think that Edmonds and Booker, better bets here. Booker because of the volume that he should get. Edmonds because of the offense and the matchup that Arizona has with the Houston Texans today. So we're both on the same page here, Zane. We're saying Edmonds and Booker is the direction you want to go in. Next question comes to us from Scott. Pivot from Pittman due to the rain to Rondale Moore. Also has Deebo Samuel going in. What sounds like it's going to be pretty brutal weather conditions between the 49ers and the Colts on Sunday Night Football.
That's a good question. I don't know if the rain's going to get me away from the lead guy in the Indy aerial attack. They're going to throw the ball still. So I want Pittman. No T.Y. Hilton, no Paris Campbell. It should be a lot of volume, and they're going to throw the ball. But it's good for Jonathan Taylor as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just that they're going to be able to play off of that as well. And I think Pittman's a better play over Rondale Moore in my mind.
And Scott, for what it's worth, both football people and weather people tend to say that rain, they would rather not play in rain, but that doesn't have a huge effect on the passing game. It's more wind that you're concerned about. Rain, something that these guys can play through. Okay, so I would also stick with Pittman over Rondale Moore. Let's get to a question from Alper. Pick 2 out of Booker, Drake, and Eli Mitchell.
Yeah, bookends here. Booker and Eli Mitchell. Again, it's a volume play here, and Kenyon Drake's clearly, in a secondary role in that backfield.
He's made some big plays. He's always going to have that ability and that chance, but that's what you're banking on. Mitchell and Booker, you're getting the volume, and 99 times out of 100, Alper, that is what you're going to want to follow. Just got to play the percentages here. No magic 8-ball. Got to do that and hope for the best. Booker and Mitchell are the guys who will do that for you. Let's get to this one from Aaron, half PPR, 2 out of Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert, and Alex Collins.
Well, we know Damian Williams has been activated, and the best mode of their attack against them is going to have to be in the passing. You can't run against Tampa. So, when Herbert and Damian Williams were together their last game, Damian Williams had more pass routes than Herbert. So, you maybe have to think that's going to reestablish itself as a hierarchy for the passing game. Given that, I want Michael Carter and I want Alex Collins.
We are in agreement once again, and even beyond the Damian Williams dominating or most likely leading this Bears backfield in the passing game, it's a muddier situation, period, for Khalil Herbert. I think that it is for either of the other two guys. I think Michael Carter and Alex Collins have clearer paths to. That's Michael. I think you're thinking of Michael Clayton.
There's a Michael. I think there's a Michael Collins too. Isn't it an Al Pacino movie where he's?
Michael Collins was the third guy on Apollo 11 who didn't get to go on the moon. It was Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin got to go out on the moon, and Michael Collins, that was his name, right? Michael Collins, I think that's his name.
Or maybe Danny Collins. There's a Al Pacino plays like a Neil Diamond-esque guy that's just kind of playing out the string, replaying his hits for crowds over and over again. But
man,
yeah,
never heard of that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, either way, Michael Carter and Alex Collins is the way that we're going to say to go here, Aaron. Let's get to a next question from Alex. Any news on Hawkinson pivot to A.J. Dillon or Michael Carter? Hawkinson's good. Hawkinson's up. Hawkinson's playing for the Lions, and that would be the play for me here pretty comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's, I think they're going to need him an awful lot against the Rams. It could be the Jared Goff. I wouldn't be surprised this is a season high volume. In terms of targets this game. So I'm pretty excited for TJ Hawkinson this week.
Yeah, I think that we got the 3 huge spreads today. This is one of them, Rams and Lions, Bears and Buccaneers, and then the biggest one is Cardinals and Texans. If I had to say, which one do I think has the best chance of being like a 30-point blowout, I would actually go with the Rams and the Lions. I think there's going to be plenty of volume in that Detroit passing game today. Question from Brandon: Le'Veon Bell, Jamal Williams, or Khalil Herbert? Half PPR. What are you looking at in this one, Funston?
I guess it's Jamal Williams. It's definitely not Lev Bell.
Definitely not.
Jamal Williams, you just talked about what you think the scenario for that Detroit game could be, and that's that wouldn't hurt Jamal Williams either. Both DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams could get stuff done in the passing game.
Yep, I feel pretty comfortable with that, and I just looked it up. We're both right. Michael Collins was the third guy on Apollo 11, so hat tip to me. And you're right, Michael Collins, 1996 film. I never heard of this movie. Sounds good.
It's Al Pacino, right?
Liam Neeson.
Oh,
Liam Neeson.
Oh, so he
plays Michael Collins.
Yeah, I think this must be an NRA kind of move. I think. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
There's another one. Pacino. I got to figure this one out. TBD.
Let's get on to our next question here. This is from Lil Big Man. Tevin Coleman inactive. How far up are you moving Carter? I mean, I think that Michael Carter, it's hard to evaluate these situations in a vacuum because we don't know what everyone has got. But I would say if you're assuming pretty standard spread of running back resources across a fantasy league, something like 4 out of 5 Michael Carter managers are going to want to play him this week. I would say something in that order.
Yeah, and to the question, I honestly wasn't ranking Michael Carter with Tevin Coleman in mind this week. I've kind of, things have sort of evolved to Michael Carter and Ty Johnson being the guys, and Tevin Coleman has just been a bit player there. So influencing me, the influence is negligible.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about Michael Carter. I'm starting him every league where I have Michael Carter, he is in my lineup. So I'll be riding with you, little big man, if you've got him in yours as well. Let's get to this question from Francisco. Best chance to get at least 10 points in a PPR leagues. Going to assume that's Antonio Gibson, Darnell Mooney, and Rashad Bateman. Who are we looking at here with this one, Funston?
Gosh,
it's Gibson by far.
It's Gibson. I'm not excited about him playing. I wish he would take some weeks off.
Take a week, yeah.
Yeah, but he'd go in and out. But, in a game where there's They're going to be scoreboard chasing. I think I would rather. He's got the best chance for scoring a touchdown, first of all.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney in the Chicago offense against Tampa, not excited about the touchdown upside there. And Bateman, we just saw come back in his first game, get 4 catches for 24 yards. So I would go with Gibson here as well.
I want to be excited about Rashad Bateman. Loved him in college. Obviously, they want to make something out of him. First-round pick. Got right back in the mix last week. 6 targets in his first game. I think he's more of a real-life impact guy than a fantasy impact guy this season, most likely. I think maybe we start seeing him registering as a fantasy guy with consistency next year. I'm sure he's going to have a good fantasy game here, a good fantasy game there this season, but the consistency of Rashad Bateman, I think we're waiting until next year.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
This week. Rashad Bateman or his former college teammate, Tyler Johnson?
I think I'll go Bateman.
I actually might lean Tyler Johnson, taking kind of that number 3 wide receiver spot, likely because Antonio Brown's out, no Gronk. I think it's close. I'm starting Tyler Johnson in one league. I don't know if I had Rashad Bateman as an option. I can't remember, but I specifically went out and I have a feeling he's going to do all right today.
Johnson's probably in a better environment. I mean, the Bears do have a defense that can dial up the right sort of formula to slow down what the Buccaneers do offensively. I don't think they'll do that necessarily to the extent that we're concerned about Tom Brady's numbers at the end of the day. But they do have that ability, and then we saw it a year ago, and it's largely the same personnel on both sides. Wouldn't be surprised if Ravens Bengals ended up being like a 2017 slugfest. So Johnson definitely in the better position, definitely better offensive environment overall. So that's something to think about if that's a guy who's on your radar for today. Buzzer Beater gives us our next question. Mooney, Callaway, or Slayton? I mean, the Giants stuff is just ugly. I think I lean Mooney here just because there has been something of a rapport between him and Justin Fields over this last month. I'm
leaning Slayton just because he's kind of last man standing there in that Giants passing game. And I might even, I'm honestly, with Deontay Harris being ruled out as well, I mean, Marquez Callaway against the Seahawks on Monday night's not a terrible play either. But if I'm, for my money, I'm going to go Darius Slayton and chase maybe a big play touchdown as he gets a decent amount of volume. One other thing I will quickly say about that Giants game is if you have Evan Ingram or if he's out there and you have, and you need a tight end, I think Evan Ingram's in a position to get a whole lot of volume this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't basically anyone
right?
who is, exactly. Anyone who's suiting up as a pass catcher for the Giants is in position to get a whole lot of volume in this game. So definitely something that you want to think about on this one. And Robert wants to go in that direction also. This is a bridge too far for me, though. I as much volume as we're expecting for Slayton, can't start him over a guy like T. Higgins. I can't, at least.
No, I can't either. Been a little disappointed at Higgins the last couple weeks, but you know what? I think we have a year and a half basically of him, and we know who he is. I feel better with Higgins as well. So, I mean, that's like you said, it's a bridge too far. I like Slayton, but I'm just not, pushing him up into borderline wide receiver 2 territory this week.
Yeah, and that's where you would have to get to really start over a guy like Higgins. Let's get to a question from Richard, half PPR. Needs a flex. Mike Davis, Devontae Smith, J.D. McKissick, Mike Gesicki. Who you got here?
Yeah, I'm probably going Mike Davis. Maybe he gets a touchdown, but you feel good about him getting like 15 touches. It's not a great Miami defense this year. I just think he's the safest and potentially finds the end zone, probably the best upside.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Mike Davis is getting double-digit touches every single game. You pretty much will count on him for 12 carries as a floor and like 4 targets as a floor. He's just going to get those opportunities. And he hasn't done a ton with those opportunities yet this season, but you can pretty much count on him for getting 60 yards almost for sure from scrimmage. He pops a touchdown. You're looking at a pretty solid fantasy day. Mike Davis would be my play here as well. Brandon's got one for us. Allen Robinson, Jamal Williams, Khalil Herbert. Confidence level, been starting A-Rob all year. Yeah, I have 2 in one league, Brandon. My confidence level, low. That's the order in which I would be playing these 3 guys, though. A-Rob, Jamal, Khalil Herbert.
Could I go off the board here? Let's see. I think I'm going Jamal Williams.
Wow, okay.
I don't know that I have I'm not excited about the Bears offense today, and then I'm not really sure if I can decide between who I think if anybody's going to do anything, if it's Herbert or Allen Robinson. I just maybe decide to steer clear of that and hope that Jamal Williams gets a whole bunch of pass attempts in a scoreboard chasing kind of setup in L.A.
All right, let's get to a question from Ryan. If Waller plays, who sits him, Ayuk, Devontae Smith? I mean, Waller definitely doesn't sit.
Yeah, Wall
but
doesn't sit. Ayuk definitely sits. I don't think. I mean, Ayuk.
yeah,
I mean, he's hardly even been on. He hasn't done anything this year. He found the end zone one time, but I mean, nothing. Volume wise, yardage wise, just hasn't been there. And until we see some, I think he's in the bench until you see something kind of scenario right now.
yeah, and shockingly, even someone you can let go if you need
Yeah.
to, if you need the space, if you need to chase after someone else, like. I mean, I did not think we were going to be seeing that at all. I wasn't, one of the big Ayuk people going into this season, but I, pretty safely assumed we're talking about a wide receiver 22 to 32 for sure, somewhere in that range. And whatever he did to piss off Kyle Shanahan, we're going to have to get to the bottom of, because he is a total afterthought in an offense that, seems like he could use someone who had a pretty darn good year last year and can make the sorts of plays that we saw Brandon Ayuk making a season ago. So very surprising what's happened to him this season. But he definitely sits if Waller's out there and you got Waller and Devontae Smith as your starters here. Question from Jonathan. Let's see. We're looking at a keeper league, half PPR, 17 points. All right, going for it. Trade Dalvin Cook and a first for Godwin, Henderson, Andrews, and Cordero Patterson.
Trade Dalvin Cook in a first for Godwin, Darrell Henderson, Andrews, and Cordero. So that's this is a dynasty league.
I mean, I guess that's an upgrade this season.
Yeah, that's a going for it. Yeah, there's a lot of. Yeah, that seems fine to me.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm okay with that too.
Players there.
Yeah,
you usually like to have the number one guy in a trade. I always like to, but when you're getting volume like that and they're all like just. I mean, you could argue Darrell Henderson the rest of the way is close to an RB1, and Godwin's a rock solid RB. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to go through it. There's a bunch of good players there, so yeah.
All right, we like it, Jonathan. Go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Antonio Gibson or Michael Carter? This is a good one from Martin.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if this is my team, I might play Michael Carter. I'm worried about Antonio Gibson. With what happened last week, they get behind. He's in and out of the lineup. J.D. McKissick ends up being the guy getting the 16 touches and the 8 catches. I have a feeling we might see something similar today. So, safer is Carter. If you just want to go for it, you can go with Gibson.
It's definitely one of those decisions that really like pulls at your stomach because
I'm ranking Gibson. I'm ranking Gibson higher. I mean, I just am. But it's one of those things where you kind of have to have it in the context of your own lineup and what you're going for.
Right, and I mean, that could very well happen. Especially, I mean, Packers could be up 21-0 in the second quarter of that game. And then do they really chance their, starting running back with a stress fracture in his shin? Like, it's very hard to say. There's a lot of variables that go beyond just who's the better running back in this one, and so I'm still leaning Gibson. But I would not feel great about it. And it's like one of those things where I would almost try to block out Gibson and Carter's stats all afternoon and then just see what happened after the fact, because it would be hell to follow after making the decision on either side of it. But I'm still leaning Gibson, Martin. Good question on that one. Here's one from Albert. We're picking 2 out of T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, and Michael Pittman.
Gosh, I might have to go look at where I rank these guys. I think these guys are all right together. Gut says I'm going to go Devonta Smith and Michael Pittman. And T. Higgins. Yeah, that's a surprise. But Baltimore's been good. Baltimore has been good against the wide receiver position. No one's come in and really done anything at the wide receiver spot. It's been the running backs and the tight ends in the passing game that have really hurt them. With T. Higgins, I mentioned the last couple of weeks, he's been like 40 yards, no touchdown each week. So that's the way I'm leaning. I think I have these guys all right in my mid-20s at the wide receiver position this week.
So we're in agreement on Pittman. I think he has to play. I think, he was showing a lot, obviously. He had a bit of a dud last week, but now T.Y. Hilton out of the lineup once again. We're not too concerned about the rain. It doesn't sound like it's going to be crazy windy in San Francisco. They should be able to deal with the rain okay. So Michael Pittman would be my play. I'm going to go T. Higgins over Devontae Smith. He would be my second guy. And there's reason to be concerned about T. Higgins for sure. Like, if we're going to say there's a number one receiver in Cincinnati, I'm not saying we need to. If we are going to say there is one, though, it's Jamar Chase. And we have to accept that. That's how it's played out this season. And so that does take a little bit of the shine off of T. Higgins. But I like that passing game a lot. I think we should like the passing game. The volume hasn't been there for it this season, but the efficiency certainly has for Joe Burrow in that passing game. So I like Devon. I just trust Burrow a little bit more, a lot more
than Jalen Hurts. And that's what ultimately has me coming back to T. Higgins over Devontae Smith. T. Hamilton is going to have our last question of the morning here, Funston. Slayton or Khalif Raymond? I got to go with the volume in Slayton here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Khalif Raymond's been getting volume, but it's like amounted to nothing. Like he's a 6 for 37 kind of receiver, So
Jared Goff revenge game could be on the other side of it.
I'm with you. I'm going to go Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
I think we're
ending
with a slam dunk.
Ending with the slam dunk. I mean, it's got to be double-digit targets for Slayton and Evan Ingram. I think that is absolutely in play today with all those injuries that the Giants have. Thanks so much to all you out there for joining us here this Sunday morning. Good luck in all your matchups. And, hey, let's all go out there, be great, and get some W's. We'll talk to you soon.